Hey. All right. All right, let's get started then. We're so excited to have you guys all here. Thank you so much for joining us today. Here we go. Switching. So welcome to our National Chicken Wing Day virtual cooking class. We have an exciting recipe to show you guys. We also have some really delicious brews. And we're here today with Jewel-Osco, Frigo, and Leinenkugels. My name is Jessica Sanchez. I am an activation manager for GT Universe, working in partnership today with Jewel-Osco. And we're showing you guys these delicious recipes. And before that, we do have to just go over a few disclaimers with everyone. We are recording today's virtual cooking class, so please be aware of that. For those of you guys who are showing your lovely faces, we love seeing you. So please, if you are willing to share a photo or just screen with us, go for it. And also, we do have a chat function if you guys noticed at the bottom of the screen. So feel free to ask any questions throughout this entire event, or just comment along or answer any questions that you see of other people. So just please keep it friendly. So yeah, without further ado, we'll kick it off with celebrity chef Emily Ellen, who will take it away. So go for it, Emily.
Thank you so much for the introduction, and thank you, Jewel-Osco, for hosting all of us today. Such a blast. I mean, not that we needed an excuse to have wing night, but National Wing Day is a pretty cool foodie holiday, if you ask me. So a total excuse to break out some wing recipes, celebrate with Frigo cheese, and of course we have blue cheese, lots of it. So I'm going to give you a couple good recipes to have in your recipe arsenal. And then what's better paired with beer or with, wings than beer? I'm already getting, I have like a couple sips and I'm already like the clam. Leinenkugels today are coming to the party. So we don't just have a food pairing, but we have a food and beer pairing, and we are going to have, we have a very loud family here. I don't know if you guys are, hi guys! Hi. I don't know if you can hear it on Zoom, but everyone is trying to hold their breath, but it seems like it's just making them louder. They're squeaking and they're creaking and they're giggling their heads off and they're trying to get their computers together, what have you. I'm sure you're all doing the same thing. I know my Leinenkugel crew is also like feeding babies and putting them to bed as well. So I think we're all in the same boat as all of you out there eating and getting wing night actually served up to your family. So let me start that over again. Thank you, Jules, for hosting. And thank you, Leinenkugel, for bringing the brew. I hope all of you had a chance to pick up some of these frosty, tasty deliciousness. I am enjoying the berry rice. I don't know about you. This is very refreshing. And it's kind of like taste of summer. And we'll actually be cooking with the summer shandy. And we have the spritzens. So we'll be talking about those, and I'll be pouring them into all of my food. But without further ado, I am going to open the floor up to Leinenkugel, but I want to raise my bottle, or for all of you at home, raise your glass or bottles or cans, whatever you'd like. And let's just kick it off with the toast. Cheers to all the hosts and friends out there, and thank you all for joining in, and all of you cooking and sharing photos and recipes with us as well. We greatly appreciate it, and I always have a blast cooking with my Jewel-Osco family. So, cheers! Cheers! Delicious. I'm giving the floor to the Leinenkugel group now while I prep my recipes.
Thanks, Emily. Ben Knutson here. I'm an innovation brewer with Molson Coors, working with the Leinenkugels team. I am enjoying a delicious raspberry lemon spritzen. Spritzen is one of our new products out right now, and we have some really fun products. We're going to have a really fun time tonight going over some history of the Leinenkugels brewery as well as some of the fun new and old beers that we're going to be showcasing tonight, as well as some amazing food pairings that we're going to be going over. So feel free to ask lots of questions in the comment section, and we'll do our best to answer that. And I hope everybody enjoys a kind of a fun evening tonight. And I'll turn it over to Katie Leinenkugel right now.
Hey guys, I'm Katie Leinenkugel. I'm a 6th generation family member of the Leinenkugel family. So I'm so excited to be here with you all. I'm drinking Leine's Original. It's not an old beer, Ben. It's just a classic. And just excited to be here. I love wings, so I am so here for wing night. But Emily, can't wait to hear more about it.
Cheers to that, Katie.
Cheers.
And I think it's so cool that we have the 6th generation, and there's nothing more retro rad than that, actually. And this is the Retro Rad Chef on the Food Network.
Yeah.
I am like, ay, I got so excited that you were
I love that. I'm excited to share a little history of Leinenkugels with everybody, and Ben can share the beer information. I'm not a brewer, full disclosure, but I happen to have beer in my blood, both figuratively and literally right now. So yeah, we'll share as much as we want to share about Leine's today. If there's questions, definitely ask them. Happy to answer.
Awesome, I love it. Yeah, and just to remind all of our viewers chiming in, be sure to ask questions in the comment section, and just continue to share pictures and toast and all these fun things that are coming through. Is working the equipment today. So are we good? Are we there? I was gonna say, Katie is Retro Rad, and so is Frigo Cheese. They're the oldest Italian-American cheese company, and that is why they're so near and dear to my heart. And I've been working with them for years now, I think about 5 years. So I can tell you firsthand, they are delicious. And the blue cheese is obviously what we're cooking with tonight. We're gonna make, just so you know, I have some cauliflower in the oven right now for a vegetarian version of wings. And we're also gonna, of course, with blue cheese smothered all on top, and then we're gonna make a celery onion blue cheese slaw. But first things first, I don't think you can have wings without a blue cheese dipping sauce, right? So I want to make this blue cheese dipping sauce and put it over to the side, and then I'm going to dig right into our recipe. So without further ado, if you're cooking along with us, it is a 2-person recipe, and I have a family here to feed, and I like to do a recipe that has 1 container so that you don't have like any extras. But if you have extras, hey, you just toss this into the next recipe, or you top your wings with it. So I'm going to do 1 container of 1 5-ounce container of Frigo Blue Cheese. And then I'm going to also put, hold on 1 second. It's good that we're all at the house right now, so I can just grab equipment. Usually on set, it's like, cut, let's take that over again. So this is good. I found a spatula. A little sour cream. Now, because I've like quadrupled the recipe, I'm putting a lot more sour cream than you are on your recipe. Now, as I've told all of our Jewel-Osco friends who have joined me at the Kenzie on the Rocks event and some of our other fun events, these recipes are frameworks. They basically are giving you good, solid guidelines to just kind of be inspired for. So yes, 3 tablespoons, I think the recipe was for blue cheese, but you know, it's a good dip. I want to add more. Now, if you like a ranch kind of dipping sauce, you may want to add dill, and that's absolutely what we're going to do. But the recipe also calls for garlic powder and onion powder. But if you are a spicy connoisseur and you want to crank up your spice-o-meter, you could put cayenne pepper, you could do paprika if you wanted it a little smoky. Now, I like it nice and bright. I think that is why we're drinking Leinenkugel with our wings, because it, you know, this summer shandy has a nice lemon brightness to it. It's the same with the recipe. That lemon brightness will cut through some of the fat and the spice. So I am not just gonna drink my Leinenkugel. I am going to add some of the similar flavors to pair with it. So I'm just going to put a little lemon juice and zest. And you can do this absolutely in a bowl and just whisk your hand off. But personally, I'd like to keep my hands preserved so I can just pick up my beer and talk to you guys.
So we have a question from the crowd.
Talk to me.
Jasmine would like to know if there are any substitutes for blue cheese. That's kind of a tough one.
Jasmine! Substitute blue cheese? Okay, okay. Not everybody likes blue cheese, but I will tell you. My Frigo fridge is full. My Frigo fridge is full of all kinds of deliciousness, and I would say a pop of salty feta would make an absolutely delicious substitute. Now, Jasmine, if you want like an easy go-to salad dressing, what I do is take a container of feta or a container of blue cheese, not you blue cheese, but for me, and on a big bowl of salad, I'll put that on there, crank some salt and pepper, then put some red wine vinegar, and it will all macerate while I'm getting all the dinner ready. And let me tell you, it is the most delicious thing, especially that feta and red wine vinegar. It's like a Greek, like, I don't know, the Greek gods are singing to me. Anyways, Jasmine, as the Greek gods are singing to you, I will be pulsing my dip in my blender. And I just mix this until it gets nice and smooth. Now, if you find that it just needs to be a little less thick, if you're not one of those people who likes to slather on your blue cheese dressing and you're more of like a, you know, just lightly slather like a ranch dressing, add a little milk, that's fine. I'm gonna add a little, just for fun. Or add more lemon juice, or heck, a little Leinenkugel. Nothing was ever made more delicious. Oh yes, it was. With a little beer and a little more.
Can you repeat the ingredients and directions?
Yeah, I can. And I'll do you even better. If you go on our event page on Jewel-Osco website, or I'm sorry, their Facebook, I can't talk, or Frigo's website, I can't talk. Too many beers, I guess. Frigo or Leinenkugel or Jewel-Osco's Facebook, there are links to this event, and there's also the recipe links as well. Now, Frigo has all of these recipes on their website, and for a quick rundown, if you're making it with me, the dipping sauce. I personally use 1 whole 5-ounce container of blue cheese. The recipe calls, though, for 3 tablespoons of blue cheese, a 1/4 cup of sour cream, 1 tablespoon of whole milk, and a pinch of garlic, pinch of onion, and a pinch of salt. I added a little lemon juice for the zest of life, and a little salt and pepper, and, you know, a little dill, just to have that nice kind of ranchy flair to it. Check that out, Jasmine and friends. Oh, Christy, check it out. Oh, Christy just posted the recipe up. Yeah. Thank you, Christy. Christy from Frigo just shared that with us. This is going to be our dipping sauce with the cauliflower bites as well as the wings. My sister is going to probably do us a solid and dish that up. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you how to make those cauliflower bites. But in the meantime, I think we need to talk summer shandy and spritzen. What do you think?
Ooh.
Take it away, Leinenkugel.
So we're talking about grapefruit spritzen right now with our first course. So spritzen is our newest series of beers that we just released this year with Leinenkugels. It's our take on seltzer. It's not seltzer though, it's beer with a splash of seltzer. So the development of this is it's still a nice light beer, brewed with a splash of seltzer and some grapefruit, natural grapefruit in there as well. So this is really awesome, I think, paired with this course, because the grapefruit has nice oils to it, nice acidity as well, and that fruit oils and acidity really cut through any fat as well. It's a nice light beer, so it cleanses the palate in between bites. It does a really good job of washing away heat. It does a good job of washing away fat and cheese with our nice blue cheese dressing. So it's a really, really good beer, really good workhorse beer, I think, for a course like this that is easy to enjoy, nice to drink, and a really, really fun pairing. Katie, do you want to take it some more?
Yeah, I thought I would just share a little bit about why we made a beer like Spritzen in our Leinenkugels portfolio. So fun fact is Spritzen is actually German for splash. So that's where we got the beer with a splash of flavored seltzer. And so it's a super light beer. I don't know if Ben said this, but it's 93 calories and 2.2 grams of carbs. Definitely my summer favorite. I love the grapefruit. My dad loves the raspberry lemon. We will never see eye to eye on that, and that's okay. So yeah, I just think it's been interesting for our drinkers. We're a 153-year-old brewery based out of Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. A lot of people are asking us, why would you make a seltzer? Well, we didn't. We made beer with a splash of seltzer. And I think Leinenkugels has been known for mixing our German heritage with American innovation. And that's exactly what this beer is. It's mixing a light lager with the seltzer that is so popular right now, and giving especially our younger drinkers something new to try. But I think every drinker has really, really liked this too, no matter what the age is. So I hope you all have a chance to try it sometime, and I really, really hope you like it. I love it.
Katie's right on point, because Spritzen has been my pandemic go-to. as I'm staying at home and drinking during this time. This has been the most stocked beer in my fridge, no problem. And between raspberry and grapefruit, so I can't agree with you or Dick.
I mean, I guess the other thing is this is available year-round, so it's not like we have to give it up once the summer goes away. Although I will tell you, it's been a perfect beach drink for me. A little dangerous in that way, but I just, like, for me, it's been such a go-to, and I'm excited that we get to have it all year round. The other thing that Ben is trying to hide from is we've got a new flavor coming out next year that I don't think we can tell people about, but I would say stay posted and stay tuned. And if you love these flavors of Spritzen, you are absolutely sure to like the next one.
Information while we were in the behind the scenes. I will keep my lips sealed, but Katie, I don't know. I personally, well, maybe it's because I've been drinking the Berry Weiss. I have to go with Dad. The raspberry lemon is delicious. Now to cook though, I think the grapefruit, but this is great.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, listen, all of them are great. I have no problem drinking any of them, but grapefruit is definitely my go-to.
Cheers to that. Cheers to that.
And also, Emily, if you love that Berry Weiss, you should try mixing it with the grapefruit or whatever Spritzen you have. You can mix them.
Ooh, good idea. Don't get us in trouble. Katie,
yeah, I know. It's the cool part about our beers, though. You can mix any of them together, and you have what we call brewology. So that tonight.
I have been known to do some, what did we used to call it? Well, craft cocktails, but like craft brew cocktails and all those good things. Well, while I sip to that, I am going to actually mix up the batter for our cauliflower and make like a little breading. I want to show you how it looks when it comes out of the oven, so that you all start having your mouth water. Hold on one second. Now, I'm all fogged up. My glasses are all fogged up. I can't see you guys. Some people always say your lenses are so clean, I can't. Do you even wear real glasses? I do need them to see. And now you know they're all fogged up. So these are the cauliflower bites that are coming out of the oven. As you can see, look at how like nice and crispy they get. And they kind of like puff up like a pancake. And then you can just finish them with a little buffalo wing sauce, or you can make your own, or use the garlic honey buffalo sauce that we are going to make for the wings. So this is just kind of a little taste test viewer. Can you smell-o-vision through the camera? And I will have my sister dish these up for the fam so they can ooh and all in the background. It's very hot. But that is what we're going to be making. Now, I think it's a great kind of dish to just have for, well, an excuse to have a vegetable side dish on your wing display, or have that kind of vegetarian, more vegan option. So how I do this is actually start with some all-purpose flour. Now for Jasmine, who's following along, I will do really good, and I'm going to give you exact ingredients so you can do this. A half cup of flour, okay? And then you're gonna whisk it together with 1 teaspoon garlic powder, a 1/4 teaspoon onion powder, and a 1/2 teaspoon baking powder. Now that baking powder is obviously a leavener. It's gonna puff it up on the side. Now, another way that I'm gonna get it kind of like that, like, you know, levitated toothsome bite is to add beer. Now, the recipe calls for, and I want to be exact, usually I'm not so exact, Jasmine, you're putting me on the spot, a 1/4 cup of lager, but I want to use the grapefruit spritzer because that is what we're pairing with this dish, right? So I'm actually not going to measure it out. I'm going to eye it because I want to show you, oops, don't cry over a little spilled milk because I poured on this counter. I want you to see what it looks like. So I added a splash, about a couple, I don't know, 3 tablespoons. And then I'm going to add a 1/4 cup-ish of milk. And then I'm going to keep whisking it together with beer until it gets to the consistency that you want. Hold on, I want to show Jasmine this and all our friends out there. Do we have any more questions while I'm whisking away?
Someone said, where can you get the garlic honey buffalo sauce?
You know what? This is a great segue, because I want, as Katie was talking about all these different flavors that you can get, I want to tell you that Frigo Cheese, Leinenkugel, and actually Jewel, we all have. You can look up where you can get the blue cheese. Go to Leinenkugel and see where you can get your grapefruit spritz, or go to Jewel to see where your local Jewel is. And now to answer your question on where you can get the garlic sauce, you're going to get the recipe right here, and you're going to get it from your refrigerator in a matter of moments. But the recipe is on the Frigo Cheese website, and you'll see clearly in the header, it says recipe. Click on that. There's a search bar in there. You can pull up the garlic honey wings, and voila, you will have the recipe, my friend. Okay, check this out. We're almost there. Look at this. It's nice and spritzy. Spritzen. I love that spritzen means splash. I'm going to have to tell my niece Sylvie that. She drinks splash water. She splashes in a little splash of lemonade. So this is perfect. And speaking of nieces and nephews, I have my nephews here. They help me recipe test, but my one nephew who's like he is the king of wings. They eat wings like 3 times, what do they think? Every 3 days-ish? Every 3 days-ish they eat wings. He's not here, and I'm dying that I can't feed Liam. I hope they're logged on and they're cooking along with us. Okay, check this out. This is the consistency that you want. So pour that much beer in it, and it's probably a 1/2 spritzen, okay? And then all you do is dip your cauliflower to about this level, kind of knock off the extra sauce. Now, I'm going to line the sheet tray up, and I'm going to, I'm going to go to questions. Do we have any more questions while I line it up? I'm going to line this up, and then I'm going to come back and give you another little trick on how you get those cauliflower really crispy.
I like this one from Becky Bolton. She said the leftover buffalo cauliflower is great as a taco filler or a tostada topping too.
Becky, we're coming over tomorrow.
Yeah.
Did you hear that,
That would
friends?
be so good.
Becky in the comment section is giving us all kinds of ideas on how to recycle, recipe remix the leftovers of our cauliflower dish.
Although we never have any leftovers here.
Becky, I think, is Becky saying that or you're saying that, Mom?
I'm saying
Yeah.
there's no leftovers.
Mom says there's no leftovers. I mean, we have 3 nephews. What do you expect? We're never going to have leftovers. Any other questions, comments? I'm going right in.
We had one more. Is the batter for the cauliflower or the chicken?
This is the batter for the cauliflower. We're starting with the cauliflower. We actually do not batter the chicken, but I guarantee if you battered the chicken in this, it would be superb. So feel free. I see like Becky's family, they're ambitious, and there's a lot of people out there that I'm sure are cooking along who like to try new recipes. Give it a try. Share the recipe. And go on Frigo Cheese right now and see there's a recipe contest going on. And you can win $2,000. So definitely go on their Facebook, go on their Instagram, like them on Instagram, and get all the details. I'm not going to give away all of the secrets, but you do have to share a picture of your family favorites. So Becky and friends, get going on that. Now I'm going to line up the rest of this tray. Now I want to tell you the last tip and trick. We're going to stick this in the oven for about 25 to 35 minutes-ish, because everybody's oven's a little different if you're not getting it calibrated or keeping a thermometer in there. I have it set to 350, but to get them nice and crispy, what I do is take some cooking spray and I just lightly spray the top of the cauliflower that has been battered, and I'm gonna stick it in the oven, and then when it sings like that, Donovan, just show them really quick where it gets that nice like puffy finish on it. Then you will know it is done. What do you think? Okay. Any more questions, or should we hand it over to Katie? I want to hear some more history about the Leinenkugels while I line this tray.
I'd be happy to share some more history. I think somebody asked, what kind of spray are you spraying on top of the cauliflower?
It is just a cooking oil spray, vegetable oil.
Cool.
You have to be quiet, okay?
And Emily, I saw a question there that I need answered as well. Someone wants to know if you can just straight drink the sauce.
Oh my gosh, the blue cheese sauce? Absolutely. We will provide straws. We're going to get Frigo straws printed up for you. Don't worry. Yeah, that is delicious, especially when you just put a little pop of that dill and lemon. Ay, 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 ay.
Serve it with a spoon.
Yes.
I keep asking questions and I'll stop along the way while Emily's working away in her kitchen. But, you know, I think one of the beers I think we're going to talk about later is Leinenkugels Original. And so that just makes me want to talk about, it was the very first recipe that my great-great-great-grandfather ever made. So it is the same thing that he made when he first got to Chippewa Falls. Gosh, and this is a really long history. My dad would bore everybody here with it, I'm sure, so I'll try to make it quick. But basically, Jacob Leinenkugel came over from Meckenheim, Germany back in 1845 with his family, mom and dad and brothers. And then the brothers kind of spread out because their dad was a brewer and taught them how to brew beer. They spread out through Wisconsin. They each had their own breweries. So in Sauk City, in Baraboo, and then one in Eau Claire. If you know the Northwest Wisconsin, Eau Claire is very close to Chippewa Falls. So Jacob worked in the brewery in Eau Claire for a little while, and then he wanted to get out on his own and have his own brewery. So him and a friend named John Miller, not related to the Miller Brewing Company, they started their own brewery in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. They called it the Chippewa Spring Brewing Company. And their drinkers or their market at the time were just really thirsty lumberjacks. It was also the largest sawmill in the country at that point. So just a lot of thirsty men looking for beer. And at that time, you could only get beer as far as you could take it on a horse, a carriage in a day. So that's why every town needed their own brewery. Now we know towns have multiple breweries, but this was Chippewa Falls. And eventually, around 1890, John Miller and Jacob Leinenkugel would split, and then Jacob just called it the Leinenkugel Brewing Company from there. Now, fast forward 6 generations, we've got 5 of my generation working in the brewery today. So I've got a cousin who's in Dallas, and I've got a cousin who's in Phoenix. And then I've got 2 cousins who actually work in the brewery itself. One is a brewer. So we're back to actually brewing the beer by Leinenkugels or by a Leinenkugel. So that's pretty neat. In the 5th generation, my dad is president. My uncle John still works for the company. And then my Aunt Lynn, who was a lifetime 2nd grade teacher, became a greeter out of retirement. So she's a greeter at the Leinie Lodge. So if you ever get a chance to visit the Leinie Lodge in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, you might meet Lynn, and she is my aunt, and she is the greeter. Ben, anything you would add to our fun history?
Thanks, Katie.
150 years, so
when I put the recipe together, I know, or the recipe sheet and the beer pairings together today, I have to say I was a bit shameless because I had to include Leinenkugels Original because this is like my go-to fridge beer. So beer tap on that I always love sharing because I love heritage. I love the story, and the beer is goddamn delicious. So that's my thing. It's a beer that when I was a kid, I grew up and my dad drank it and my grandpa drank it. And not only do I think the beer is amazing, it's just such an amazing story, and that's why I love it as well.
Yeah, I thought at first, Ben, you were going to say that you were drinking it as a kid. You had a similar history to me, but
in Wisconsin, we have a bit different rules, so
it's a little different here for sure. My grandpa actually gave me my first taste of Leinenkugels Original when I was a day old. He put it on his thumb, and we got to try it as babies. I don't remember it, but I'm sure I liked it.
That's great. And Katie started touching it, on it, but we have a pretty awesome year planned out, and the rest of this year and going into all of next year for the future of Leinenkugels and new beers. We have a really bunch of exciting new beers coming out right now. The first one that's going to be coming this fall is a bit of a new beer. It's a Bock style beer called Toasted Bock. So the fun thing about this beer is it's brewed in a traditional Bock style beer. Bock beers are a touch darker. They're very traditional German style beers. They would brew a couple different kinds of Bock beers traditionally. They'd brew Maibock, they'd brew Doppelbock, they'd brew just traditional regular Bock beers. Maybocks would be a touch lighter. They'd be brewed usually in the end of the summer, and they'd be aged in caves for drinking in the spring in May. Doppelbocks were usually brewed to be much darker, and they were much higher alcohol and also had much more bready characters and much more actual nutrition. And Doppelbocks were also used by German monks to sustain their bodies on, as during Lent and during fasting they would drink Doppelbocks as a source of nutrition. So the Bock beer that we've created is a bit lower alcohol, a bit more sessionable, but plays on a bit of that traditional Bock and the Doppelbock play. It's got a nice roasty character as well. Nice caramel malts and traditional German malts and German hops that are used in it. Super drinkable and super flavorful, and as you would expect from Leinenkugels, just a really fun beer that's coming at you. We have new spritzen beers. We have a lot of other new beers coming here in the next 6 months. So stay tuned, everybody, if you're all Leinenkugels fans.
You guys are such teases over there. I think we need to up our game and put some more recipes online. Hey, I think we actually are. We're always updating recipes. And speaking of, like, yeah, I could just envision the whole Leinenkugel family getting around the table. I just love that. It's such a feel-good story, and I can envision.
Emily,
I can envision the
you would
Frigo
not want to
family
host
hanging.
We are a
and the
loud
Saputo family hanging, and they used to do, actually, I believe the story goes, Mr. and Mrs. Saputo would do dinners in the top of their factory for all of their workers every week, and it was like a big Italian family dinner. And I don't know why. In my imaginary story of it, my dream of it, they weren't sipping Leinenkugel and having a little session moment. I mean, that's how I envision it. Maybe they were eating wings. I don't know. Wings and beer. So this fire is getting hot in here, and I am going to actually start making that wing sauce. You guys have me like all jazzed up that we need to start tossing these wings. And for who was it out there who wanted to know where you could get the garlic honey wing sauce? Well, I'm gonna give you this recipe right now. Oh, are you ready for it? So you actually start with peppers and garlic. So if you are a hot pepper lover, go get those jalapenos from the grocery. If you're not that much of a pepper lover and you just want that flavor, then more of the mild peppers like bell or even shishito. And that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use shishito peppers, and I'm just going to break off the tops, and I'm going to put them right in my food processor. You can chop them up. That is absolutely fine. You can buy minced garlic if you want as well for this next stage, or you can take it and you can get a handful of fresh garlic and put it right into your food processor. Give it a little blitz. Now, at this point on the recipe, it does say that you need to start heating up the honey, the sugar, the vinegar, and all that good stuff. Hey, go for it. You're basically liquefying the sugar so it all blends together. You can do that, or you can do what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to put it into my food processor, and I'm going to then transfer it to the stove. It takes away an entire step. So I think that's probably the easiest way. So garlic honey sauce, honeys, about a cup of honey. Now, if you're not keeping bees on your property, then you know honey is quite expensive. So we're going to add a little sugar on top of that. You can substitute the sugar if you'd like with all honey. Up to you. Absolutely up to you. Now, there's just a splash of vinegar in that recipe, about a tablespoon, Jasmine. I know, you're watching me. And then 3 tablespoons-ish of ketchup. That gives it that kind of like saucy buffalo wing flavor that we're all used to. A little sesame oil. Now that'll be good to help coat the wings, keep that cheese sticking to it, keep that that sauce a nice viscous consistency. And then you need salt, right? You need a little pop of salt to kind of brighten all these spicy flavors and not get bogged down with the heavy wings. So you're gonna put, you can use low sodium if you'd like. Do about a cup-ish of soy sauce, okay? Now it calls for water. Now feel free to use water, but we have beer open, and we're going to start moving to the summer shandy. So I absolutely encourage just mixing a little of that summer shandy in, because it has those nice bright lemon flavors. And I'm going to give it a little stir. Ooh, yeah, now that's saucy. Now take your pepper garlic mixture. If you went and you cut it all by hand, kudos to you. You're probably still chopping there. I feel for you. You need to get one of these little choppers. They're like my go-to. Whenever I shoot something, I feel like I'm always traveling with my little choppers. So here I go. I'm going to put it right there on, or right in the pan rather, and I'm going to put it on the stove. Now, you know how sauce starts to get nice and thick? Now, to get a sauce nice and thick, you can totally reduce it on the stove, and that means turn on the heat and let it slowly evaporate until it gets to a nice thick consistency. So if you ever read that in a recipe and it says reduce to a syrupy consistency or reduce down by half, that's what you're doing. You're just evaporating half of the liquid off. Now, this recipe doesn't call for reduction. It actually calls for cornstarch to help thicken it up. So I'm going to put a 1/4 teaspoon of cornstarch, and that is going to help thicken it up when it's cooking through. So it'll get to that nice viscous, thick viscous consistency. And that's another reason why you add a little cornstarch to your fruit pies and stuff like that you bake. But you have to cook out the cornstarch, or it has like an odd flavor to it. Now, the magic of Zoom meetings. I know you've all seen it. This has actually been cooking for a few minutes on the stove while we've been chit-chatting. Check it out, my friend. Ooh la la, it got nice and thick. See that? And this is your honey garlic sauce. Let me give it a taste for fun. Oh yeah, that's good. Easton, you want to do a little taste test? Come on over here. Easton got dressed up for my party, everybody. He has green legs. He's the cutest kid. I don't want to embarrass him. But I will bring Luke over. Now, I want everybody to meet Luke because he's my grill master. He's my middle nephew.
Chicken man.
He's the chicken man. And for his birthday that he just had, I don't know what, 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, we had a birthday. And what he asked for was, Dad and Mom, can I have a grill grate for my grill? He is somehow taken over the Weber charcoal grill, mastered it, and he helped me do all the recipe tests. So for those of you who aren't frying your chicken wings and you want another alternative, you want to bake, you want to be a little healthier, we baked them and we grilled them, right? And so we put them on the grill. You fired it up hot, right? We got the grill hot. Hot fatatsy. And he also has a little technique. We'll give away some of our family secrets. He lets the chicken cook and he blasts the smoke, right? You get it nice and smoky in there first when he starts the grill. Then he gets it hot again. And then right when he takes it off the grill, he gets it smoky again by closing up the vents. And then the chicken wings have like a little smoky flavor. But if you're gonna do it on the grill, folks, 20 minutes on each side. And then if you're doing charcoal grill, you're gonna have to check it because the heat's just a little different. So we had to do some moving around strategically to get them perfect. Now, if you're gonna bake them, like I did here, this is our family's favorite version of the wings. We tested them all different ways. They like the smokiness of the grill, but our favorite was how the honey and the garlic started caramelizing in the oven. And we cranked the oven up to 450. And we did the same thing, 20 minutes on each side pretty much. And look at how they get like nice and caramely. Now, Liam's not here, my other wing loving nephew. Well, actually, he's probably more wing obsessed. You're grill master chicken man. He is chicken wing man. We have come up with a whole another way of doing it where, well, it's not another, but it's another secret, if you will. When you pull these wings out of the oven and they're hot and the honey is starting to get like nice and gooey, or you pull them off the grill, what you do is you sprinkle an entire 5-ounce container of blue cheese and it just melts to them. Wow. And it is, let me tell you, I mean, it's tough. For those of you out there who are just drinking the blue cheese sauce, you actually may want to just melt your blue cheese or your blue cheese sauce on the hot wing, right? Yeah. So Luke, I need you to grab a plate and I'm gonna give you one of those wings dipped in the sauce and you're gonna be my taste tester, okay? So we're gonna grab a wing. I'm gonna dip it in this hot sauce that just came off of the stove. It is hot. We're gonna let it cool down, but you're gonna be my taste tester over there. Easton, you may as well bring over your plate too, because you're gonna want to taste this, aren't you? I know.
So Sarah says that Luke Luke needs to do the next Master Chef lesson.
Is that Sarah?
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah. Chef Kiddo, right? Right? You watch that show. You like that show. Now, you're not necessarily a fry master, but you know how to do this. I'm gonna get the wings out of the fryer. They've been cooking. Now, actually, let me back up. You got me all excited because I have my nephew cooking with me. Oh my goodness gracious. Come on over here, Master Chef. Let's clean this up for you. Sarah wants a show. We're gonna give her a show. I bet that Sarah is the one who specializes in those Instant Pot cookbooks. We should check those out. She makes vegan Instant Pot cookbooks. Nice. Yeah, she's cool. So look at this, the wings. Now, that's another trick we came up with, friends. So when you buy wings at Jewel-Osco, and actually, frankly, a lot of grocery stores, they have the drumette and the flat attached, right? So it looks like a whole wing, just like this, right, guys? Now, in this recipe that you get on frigocheese.com, it says to split them, and you just split it right down the joint with the butt part of the knife. Now, we found that when you grill and you bake, it is better to keep them together. It just gets juicier. It kind of has like handle, a little easier to eat, but definitely when you're frying, you have to split them. So I split these up. And I'm going to have Luke do this. Well, you're going to toss while I put salt and pepper on them, okay? Okay, use those tongs and toss them so I get evenly coated on each side. Now, someone asked if you could bread them with the cauliflower breading. Absolutely. I think they would do great in your fryer. And, you know, if you're using just a vegetable oil, fine. You may have to like strain it out after a while, but if you're baking it, it's going to be perfect, just like the cauliflower. So keep tossing those. I'm just going to put a couple more cranks of salt and pepper on them.
It looks like Tony's cooking along with you.
Oh, good, Tony.
He's got something good going there.
I've been getting instant messages and pings. So Tony's cooking. There's Greg's cooking. James in Chicago's cooking. We have a lot of cookies, chefies out there. And Lookie's cooking. Okay, now this smells like it's done. Now I know these fryers are kind of funny. Look at that. Nice and crispy, right? So if you're gonna pull this out and you're gonna have sauce, this is what I suggest. Have a little sauce in the pan. Do a little shake, get some excess grease off. Put it right in there. Oh, there's a straggler. Okay. Then you put a little more sauce, and then you do one of these little like shaky deals like you're in a restaurant. Oh, ooh. And then like I said, hello, Frigo friends. Yeah. If you want flavor, this is what you need. Yes. Right here. You want it to get ooey gooey and like be melted in the sauce. Guys, Tony, I can't see your picture. My camera's going the wrong way.
He's got this giant cast iron pan
going. I love you, Tony.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah. Tony, I'm with you. I'm coming over. We're going to Tony's house tonight, and then we're going to go, who was our friend who, we can't use that one now. Who was our friend who had all the leftovers? We're going to go recipe remix. Was it Kim? I always do these Jewel events, and then I find out all these people's houses to crash for dinner. Because you guys are all such good cooks. What do you guys think?
Oh, my gosh, it's so good.
Okay, so we had a couple of questions from the crowd, though. When you were making this sauce, people were interested in substitutions for the honey. One was how about agave? In this,
absolutely,
okay.
Agave. I like it.
Agave is good, and the other one was sugar cane.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, you can absolutely use sugar. You can use agave. You can use molasses. And the cool thing, like I was saying, these are recipes that are total frameworks, right? You know how we get inspired and we clean out the refrigerator? Yeah. And so if we didn't have ketchup, we could use barbecue sauce. Yeah. Right? Or, you know.
Instead of the shishitos, you could use any pepper.
Any pepper instead of the shishitos. But if you wanted to keep like a whole Asian flair, you could do hoisin sauce for the you know, for the ketchup alternative, and then you could use the sugar cane. That would be awesome. You could substitute the sesame oil for any oil. Yeah, you could just go wild. I love that idea. I'm crashing whomever's house that is too. I like it. You guys are good. Any other questions? And then I'll give it over to our Leinenkugel crew. Say that 10 times fast. Leinenkugel crew. Leinenkugel crew.
Line heads.
What about maple syrup?
Oh, maple syrup for a little Midwestern flair. Dad's chiming in. He's a great cook. He's the one who taught us clean out the refrigerator cooking. What do we have there, Dono? Mom, any questions? Or you guys are too busy eating?
Oh, no, it's so good. Amazing. The blue cheese is like.
Zoom into that hot plate while we read the questions, or we hand it over to Leinenkugel. Look at that plate, Dono. Tenderest wings he's ever had.
Look at the blue cheese melting on there. Look at this. This is heaven. This is what I get to eat tonight.
Oh, yes. Before I hand it over, sorry, Leinenkugel, I keep cutting you off. Before I hand it over to you, I like the idea of using an air fryer. Now, for air fryers, obviously, it's a little different. You're going to have to read up on the instruction manuals. I'm sure they have the recipes in there for like doing chicken wings or chicken legs. So you'll get some time and temperatures online. But that's a great way to do it. And you don't have to have the extra oil. But, you know, when you're deep frying like this at a high heat oil, you don't really, it doesn't get saturated as much. So, take it away, friends, on the other side of the Zoom.
Thanks, Emily. I think Katie and I will speak on both the pairing for our cauliflower bites and a bit of history on shandies. So today we have orange shandy pairing with our cauliflower bites. Orange shandy is a nice balanced beer because it has nice characteristics of acid. It has some sweetness, and it has some really nice tropical notes in that orange going on as well. It works really nice with this course. The cauliflower, in my opinion, has some earthy tones, and it also has some savory notes from not only someone spilled a beer, and some savory notes from the dressing and that breading as well. While the orange shandy can really play well with those notes. That nice tropical citrus note works really nicely. It complements and contrasts really well with this pairing. Orange shandy is one of a few shandies that we have available right now. Our #1 beer in perpetuity is summer shandy with Leinenkugels, which we're seeing a beautiful picture right now. And Katie, why don't you just tell everybody a bit about how shandy started, the history of that, and then the start of summer shandy, why don't you?
Cool, Ben. Yeah, thank you. So shandy is a really interesting beer for us because it's the one that made Leinenkugels national for the very first time. So the story goes back in 2007, when I was not yet old enough to drink, the Leinenkugel brothers, so John and Dick and Jake, were wanting the next big thing in beer. And so they asked the question, well, what are the Germans drinking in the summertime? They knew they wanted a summer beer. So they did a little research, and they learned about in Bavaria, Germany, back in, I think it was like the early 1920s, they had a big bike race, and there was a bar owner by the name of Franz Kugler. That's a German name if I've ever heard one. And Franz Kugler was a bar owner that the bikers were going right by his bar. So he needed his beer to last, and he was quickly running out. So what he ended up doing was mixing that beer that he had with some of his lemon lime sodas or lemonade or Coca-Colas. And that created what he called the spritzen, not the spritzen, the shandy. And so that was the origination of shandies. Fast forward to 2007, my dad, thought, that'd be an interesting thing to bring over to the US and see if it's something US drinkers are wanting and looking for. And it turns out, as we all know, with summer shandy, it's exactly what they were looking for. So team worked on it, and we came up with summer shandy, which is Weiss beer mixed with natural lemonade flavors. It's perfect for summertime. And a fun fact for everybody out there that you can use at your next dinner party or wing party is that 9 out of 10 shandies currently drank or drunk or consumed. I never know the word for it. 9 out of 10 shandies that are consumed in the US are Leinenkugels summer shandy. So that's the history of summer shandy, and it's definitely one of my favorites.
Cool. It's our favorite. My brother-in-law was like, "What? Leinenkugels gonna be here? Oh, summer shandies? Are we gonna get summer shandies?" And I looked at all the flavors. He's like, "Wait, there's berry? Oh my gosh, there's spritzen!" And he got all excited. So.
Yep. So Emily, this is the perfect one, by the way, for brewology and for mixing. So I know you said you had berry in front of you as well. If you summer shandy and berry Weiss together, you have what we call the pink lemonade.
Ooh.
Those
Don't
two mixed
tempt me
together.
with a good time, Katie.
Oh, I'm gonna tempt you with that good time for sure. Everybody needs to try it. It is so good. And you can actually find in our brewology pack that Jewel-Osco definitely sells. You can find 4 different beers: summer shandy, grapefruit shandy, canoe paddle coal, and berry Weiss. And you can mix and match all those flavors.
I love this. It's so good. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Friends out there, I hope you're drinking like us.
And given everybody's current circumstances, the brewology pack I think is even more fun, because that whole idea became from sitting at the bar and mixing beers together. Well, now we can sit at home and mix beers together, just like we did at the bar when we discovered that idea.
You absolutely can. It's a lot of fun.
I love it. We're all experts now.
Yep.
Well, cheers to that, Katie. I am now a convert, and I will be sipping on this for the rest of the party. Now, I just heard the bell go off, and we're nearing the end of our party. But the party can still keep on going, because we will take questions. We'll stay on a little longer, but now you have all the recipes. They're at frigocheese.com. And you know that if you go to Frigo Cheese, Leinenkugel, and Jewel, you can go to the locators and you can find where to get all these delicious products. And you can make all these yourself, because we have these recipes online. Katie has her brewology. We have our recipes. Life is good. And it's going to get better because, hold that thought. I'm getting steamed up again. Check these bad boys out. So in the amount of time we were talking, the cauliflower is nice and crispy. Now it could go a little longer if you want it just a little crispier, because, it will start like reconstituting and getting a little more softer in it as it like sits out. So we don't want that while it's steaming. So you could probably keep it in for another 5 minutes, but it is good to just dig in and devour right now. But if you want to add sauce, add sauce. We have our homemade sauce. I'm going to drizzle that. Or you can, of course, put buffalo sauce. I'm all for that. But you definitely have to use blue cheese to finish it off. And you have to get our blue cheese dipping sauce. Guys, are you eating that blue cheese dipping sauce?
Yeah.
What do you think about it? Delicious?
I just drank half of it.
Oh my gosh, they're drinking it now. That's a whole nother brewology, guys. Our shandies are now being mixed with blue cheese. I don't know if this is going to catch on, but I could see it. I could see something happening. Let me have a little taste. Oh, yes. Now, I'm gonna keep the party going just a little longer because a lot of us like to have that blue cheese dressing and dip celery sticks in it, right? I mean, that is so wing tradition. But I encourage you to go check out another one of my fabulous recipes at FrigoCheese.com or EmilyEllen.com. You can always go to my website too. But I do a buffalo chicken slider and I put a celery slaw on top of it. So if you want to just have a different version of the celery dip in blue cheese, do this. And it is kind of like what I was telling Jasmine, that you can, it's that idea of like just making a quick salad by getting the salt and flavor from your cheese, either your feta or your blue, and then adding something a little acidic like red wine vinegar to it, and then seasoning it up with salt and pepper. So this is how I do the slaw. I have about 5 ribs of celery. I slice it up, and then I have a nice big onion, or a medium onion, I guess, sliced up. Now, don't worry. This is not going to be like one of those relationship killers where you're breathing on each other. No, 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 no. That vinegar is going to take that onion and make it nice and mild, okay? So, a little blue cheese for flavor, a little celery seed for flavor, yummy. Lucy says yummy. A little olive oil. That just kind of like helps mix it all together. Salt and pepper. Not too much salt because we have that salt from the blue cheese, but I like black pepper. It's such a good flavoring. And then some honey just to sweeten it up a little, or agave, or sugar cane. I liked all your suggestions on the last one. And or maple syrup. And then a splash of red wine vinegar. And or if you want to share, I mean, you know, it might be all in your summer shandy beerology, but if you want to share, I guess a little bit of this beer Weiss, or this berry Weiss rather, would just be, okay, give it a toss. And then let this just macerate in the refrigerator for about 20 minutes, and it will melt down. Check this out. You see, you might have to kind of like strain it off a little because the celery's got a little water in it, but look, it just melts down into perfection, and it is divine. It just cuts through the richness of the wings, and it just helps your beer sing even louder, and life is good. So now you have an entire full meal. I hope wing night is just coming along. Everybody better be sharing your recipes, but I want to hand it over in the last minutes to Katie and Ben from Leinenkugel, and I want them to talk about their lager because it is like one of their foundation beers. It's a classic. So let me hand that over before we run out of time.
Thanks, Emily. And we touched base on Leinenkugel's original, but definitely one of my favorite beers. And you have to pair a classic beer with a classic dish in my mind. So we have a fun take on a very classic dish, that being coleslaw, and we're pairing it with an American icon and an American original beer, that being Leinenkugels original. Katie's already touched on the whole history of that, but if you want to say anything else, that'd be it. But we appreciate everybody's time today, and go out there and drink some Leinenkugels.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot more to add to that, Ben, but thank you for having me on this today, and Emily for cooking for us. I expect a shipment of wings in the mail any moment now. And just thanks for having us today. It was a lot of fun. I can't wait to do another one of these with you soon.
Absolutely. Did you hear that, Jewel? Thank you, Jewel-Osco, for being an amazing host. Leinenkugel and Frigo Cheese would happily pair up again, and we'll join you at another event or any event in the future. So I'd like to raise our glass and our bottles and our cans again and just end the party for now with a toast, but stay on if you want just a couple more questions. But an official goodbye to the party. Cheers to everyone who joined in. It was a delicious excuse to get together, National Wing Day. And I encourage all of you to check out Frigo Cheese, Leinenkugel, and Emily Ellen Oh, and just have a wonderful night. Cheers, cheers, cheers.
Salud, salud.
Cheers, everybody.
Well, I don't know.
All right, I'm staying on for just a minute. If we have any questions, I know there was just like a little more. What do you think? Or Jewel, you just get Jewel-Osco, tell us.
I loved all of this. I'm very excited to try it at home. I'm so excited. Thanks for cooking with us, Emily.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Such a fun event. I'm with Leinenkugel myself. I just love the incorporating of your cooking and we got some, cheese, wings, beer. There's not much more you can ask for. So thanks for everyone joining.
Emily, I'm just wondering if Uber Eats goes to your house.
I know. I wish I could deliver to you, Katie. Get you a nice big dinner and just have you put your feet up and rest. And,
Yeah. Thanks for having us, Emily, and Jewel-Osco. That were great.
It was my pleasure. Thank you. All right, I think we're all done, right, Jewel? Jewel-Osco crew?
Yeah, we did have one question. What pepper do you like using for today's recipe?
We're over. You start talking about pepper, and then the peppers on the stove started boiling over. The shishito pepper is what I use, but I encourage everyone to just kind of like go with their spice meter. If they really like spicy, have jalapenos. If they want like a little richer, deeper, they can do poblanos or even smoked poblanos like chipotle, and then they can do totally mild and go for just a green pepper or red pepper that has just that like little bit of bright zing. But yeah, I used shishito today because they weren't too spicy, but they had a little bit of kick every once in a while to get a sleeper. Oh my gosh, I forgot to tell everybody. Everyone who is on, I have been like recipe developing, and I made today the first iteration of these, but let me tell you, they are so delicious. This is a blue cheese cookie. It's a blue cheese thumbprint. I know they're not like totally like gorgeous, but they are divinely delicious. They have our homemade strawberry jam in it and our homemade cherry jam. But these are blue cheese cookies, and I'm going to be posting them on Frigo Cheese recipes sooner than later. And they are so good. And they taste amazing with the orange shandies.
Yeah.
So blue cheese, shortbread thumbprints.
Amazing.
Amazing, right?
Amazing.
So we're going to be sharing these with you.
That's awesome. You managed to make a whole 4-course meal with blue cheese in every single dish.
I did, and the time was running out, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I didn't talk about the orange shandy and the blue cheese cookies.
Oh my goodness. Those sound delicious though. I definitely can't wait for that recipe to be live because I'll try that one first. Oh
we'll be sharing these.
Please. Yes, flavors.
Well, everybody's talking in the background. They're digging in. Ricky just said it was the most tender wing he's ever had.
Yes.
I know.
They've been busy, right?
Well, it sounds like the beasts need to be fed some more. So I'm going to get to work. Keep questions and things going, and I'll keep answering offline. And thank you again for having us.
Yeah, no problem. Well, thank you so much for cooking, and thank you for the Leinenkugels team for joining us. We'll probably turn off the Zoom, but if they have any more questions for you, they can definitely hit you up on Instagram.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
There we go.
And send pictures.
Thank you.
Yes, anyone who cooked with us, definitely send pictures to Jewel, to Emily, all on Instagram. We'd love to see it. Awesome. All right. Well, have a great night, everyone. Thank you, Emily.